All right, let's do it live on a Football Friday edition of the program. Merely Bo, the great Z. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Feeling good. Football Friday, Browns Steelers. Feel like I'm decked out in some nice gear here. The Ilthy Browns collab second edition. Got this nice hoodie. This new drop.
It's a new drop.
It's a new drop.
Yeah, it's a new drop.
This has got an orange hoodie.
Yep.
It's got a brown crew neck that has the same kind of embossed brownie on it like this one.
Yeah.
And then it's available in limited quantities for fans. 9 a.m. this Sunday at the Browns Pro Shop and also live via Fanatics at shop.clevelandbrowns.com. Apparel from Drop 1 will also be restocked in limited quantities, and that had the white hoodie that you've seen me wear.
Yeah, I like that
with the helmet on it. But, yeah, zoom in here, Griff. Take it in. Look at there's brownies ready to roll. And this is that Ilthy. It's got the 46 on one shoulder, the Browns helmet, and the Ilthy on the other.
I like the brown crew's nice too. I saw
the brown
that
crew
this
is a
morning.
nice
I like
looking
that
crew.
one,
This is our collab. So this is great because you're able to collab with somebody in your local area, and so the Browns and Ilthy obviously have the partnership, and I think this is the second of maybe 3 that will ultimately drop. They said the latest collab adds premium fleece items just in time for the holidays. Each piece showcases our commitment to superior quality, blending the excitement of Browns fandom with unparalleled comfort. Next Wave proudly represents the spirit of both our home team, the level of detail you can expect from Ilthy, said CEO of Ilthy, Kumar Arora. It's awesome. This is good stuff, and I like it. Plus, listen, you're out there. Some people like the Hoff. The Hoff could wear this in hunting season. He'd be ready to roll.
Yeah, there's no question.
You got a nice bright orange.
Yeah.
Cut through the fog.
Any sort of rifle hunting season, that would be appropriate. In Montana, you didn't have to wear the orange with bow and arrow. I don't know.
You took your chances with an arrow.
Yeah, bow and arrow. You were safe. You could go with the camo, but in the rifle, you needed to have the bright orange.
Yeah,
Hunter's orange was the operation there. We've got a Steelers game in 2 days.
We do.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
It's a crazy morning. I mean, like you've got. Yeah, there's a lot going on. We don't have to get bogged down in that.
We don't have to get bogged down, but give me what are your top 3 stories of the morning?
Michigan went from we didn't do it, rogue agent, to yes, sir, may we have another? We've done all of it.
Fired their linebacker coach out of
nowhere because of
no reason.
Performance. They have the best defense in the country, but out of performance,
they're
he
undefeated.
was fired. Yeah. There's an Uncle T who apparently paid for all of it. Harbaugh knew nothing.
Who is Uncle T?
I don't know. It'd be amazing if it was Tom Brady.
I mean, it's in play.
I don't think it is, but it would be amazing.
It's in play.
If it was Tim Brady. Tom Brady would be pretty remarkable.
Okay,
If he was the one who was behind.
So that's number
good.
1.
You had I think probably the biggest. Look at that, he's in it.
That's right. It's like that Spider-Man meme.
That's right. I think one of the stories that hasn't been talked about. I don't know nationally. I'm sure it is a little bit, but like the Joe Burrow stuff is crazy. That he wasn't on an injury report. You and I do the scores yesterday. There's no way we do the scores the way we do them if we think there's a possibility.
And I was
that he's
skeptical
hurt.
to begin with.
But
yes, definitely.
Irregardless,
you wouldn't have done it.
You do not do that had you known that he was hurt. So I don't know. Like, he wasn't on an injury report. There's already been an investigation launched. They were the heavy favorite, although the Sharps came in late on Baltimore that got it back up to 4 by the time kickoff happened. So somebody knew something about his hand. But he gets off
the picture.
Right, and then they scrubbed that.
By the way, which you can't do that.
No.
You got to just leave it be.
Late.
Once you
Too late.
scrub it,
then it
becomes
attention.
worse.
Yeah.
Yes, then it becomes worse. So that was, I think, a bad job out of them to try to the cover-up is often worse than the crime.
Agreed.
So
on that front, what's the penalty on that?
It could lose a draft pick.
So the only thing I could think of, this is the only defense I could see the Bengals having in this, is if the injury happened on his own time. Now, it still should have been disclosed, but that would at least allow for him to have practiced all week without designation. There's no other way he practices without designation.
That's fair, but they knew about it, and you can make changes to the injury report as new information comes to light, as the dude would so eloquently say. The fact that they themselves posted a picture that had him in the brace, and that they themselves then tried to scrub that picture from the record, means that they knew that something was amiss.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think to me they're caught red-handed. Now here's the other thing, and you were doing. I know you do another program.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much national discourse has there been. I've been locked in here, Browns Steelers. I'm focused like Clydesdale. How much national discourse has there been that, maybe it wasn't a good contract to have him sign for $270 million. Maybe he doesn't want to play. Maybe he just wants to sit this out. Or maybe
I don't know that those two
maybe, he's not delivering the wins that he should, right?
Yeah,
they were 5-4 even with him.
Yeah.
And how is Jake Browning the only backup plan they could have? They were all in on this season. It feels kind of crazy to me that would be the way they would go about it. They didn't have like a $10 million backup quarterback who had been well established in the league. So weird. I was just wondering if there's a lot of discourse
You are officially a Clevelander.
I just wonder
that
if there's a lot
was
of discourse
officially
about that.
Welcome. You've been here 20 years.
I've
You've done it.
I've been here
You've
for
done
a
it.
long time.
You've done it.
I'm just curious.
You've very much
done it. It was more
done
just
it
a
right
question
there.
than anything is what it was
yeah,
for me.
Yeah, that really
Not a statement. That was a
mirror
question.
circumstances in every way over the
feels like
last
it.
couple
It
years.
feels like
No,
the backup
look,
part is the same.
Yeah. Look at that part. I always thought that was silly all week long. Like that goes a long time. Like you don't do that anymore. You don't pay quarterbacks. You don't pay backup quarterbacks. You're not going to do that. You're paying your franchise. If the franchise quarterback goes down, the season's lost. There is no saving it. The ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl, not to scratch and claw and trying to get into the playoffs.
For sure.
Especially if you're a team with those aspirations. Look, he looks cooked to me. Like he could not handle. He could not. You and I were texting. He could not physically grab the football.
Okay.
I mean, he's out a while.
He might be done for the year.
Yeah.
It looked to me like it was something that not just wrist, something in his elbow, because that one where he tried to throw and his arm, the way his arm moved was very odd. Then you see the close-up of his hand. His hand
Swollen.
is like he was stung by 100 bees.
Yeah.
Unbelievable that the last pass he threw was a touchdown.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible. But that's wild. They are now 0-3 in the division, if I'm not mistaken.
They're 0-5 in the conference.
And I think they have one conference win? No? I thought they were going into last night. They were 1-4 in the They might
Maybe.
be 1-5.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head who they're.
Yeah.
Either way, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Either way, it's a long road to hoe.
Yes. So and that was an interesting thing for Browns fans last night. Like, what are you actually wanting in that outcome of that game to be? Because
you wanted Cincinnati to win.
So that you're playing for first place?
Yep.
I think that makes this one game certainly more fun.
Yeah.
But I think if you're being holistic about it, the fewer teams that you're in contention for the top 7 spots, the better.
Fine. You can argue either way. I think we have the 24th easiest schedule going forward. We're 6-3 with all sorts of different quarterbacks playing to this point, and outside of one half of Deshaun, none of it great. To me, you could go win the division. Is kind of what you could do.
For sure.
There's no question. So, I would have rather had Baltimore. By the way, they lose Mark Andrews
for the year
in this game. For the year.
Lamar got
so
again.
there are monster injuries around this league, and 2 huge ones in this game last night. And
Odell got banged up as well.
He did, yeah.
And he looked good against us. He looked good in that game.
Yeah,
too.
as soon as Baltimore scored before half, I'm like, all right, I'm good. There's no chance. It's done.
Yeah.
Burrow's done. That's it. I don't need to watch any more of this. And it sucks because I was kind of looking forward to it. We spent a lot of time talking about, we talk about the broadcast. It was like Al and Herbie didn't give proper attention to the fact that their season was up in flames.
No, not at all.
They didn't give it the right weight. I mean, that was what happened there. That image of him throwing the pass to Mixon and then going like that. And then the image of him, the video of him on the sideline, and he can't even it's done. The idea
like this,
that changes. That is a Super Bowl contending team that hopes evaporated like that overnight.
Yes, because I would argue that they do not have.
I thought it was undersold.
They don't have the supporting cast or the defense that we do to be able to try to navigate those waters as effectively as we have an opportunity to do.
No,
you're right. Look, Al came in. I texted you before when I said
he looked great.
The tan, he clearly had been tanning, may have been even a spray tan. He was like peak Hulk Hogan right there, or Matt Cardona. You knew he was going to give you everything he had, but I felt like he even ran out of steam with the Burrow injury. It was just kind of like, well, this game's not going to be that fun.
No.
And it wasn't.
And it wasn't. I think they are going to be – I think the injury report part of this is a huge – thing.
Well, they could lose a significant pick.
They should.
Well, yeah, because
it's legal in this state. This league partners with this league and its teams partner with entities that gamble, they're gambling sites. You have to have integrity in the sport, and they didn't have it yesterday.
No. So yes, that's a big one.
They didn't have it for us in the scores.
No. That's all right. We're still, 9-2
It's
on
fine, but
Thursdays?
it's like you don't make that call.
Of course not.
That's ridiculous to not have that information public.
And by the way, if the information was public, and let's say we knew it was going to be Burrow until his arm fell off, kind of felt like Dave Dravecki almost, for those people old enough to remember that, when he is like, his arm just kind of, he's like, I can't throw anymore. It turned out, hopefully it's not that same situation. What do you think of Roquan Smith after the game being like, quarterbacks get hurt when they play the Ravens?
Just tone deaf.
Yeah, like,
tone deaf. I'm sure it was whatever happened to him was exacerbated by the hit from Clowney, clearly.
Yeah.
But it was a pre-existing injury, obviously.
No doubt.
No doubt. So, but I think, that's just kind of what you do, football guy do. You put him on. That's, I didn't expect much more.
Yeah, Jamar Chase caught that garbage time touchdown, 2 catches, 12 yards.
Oh, they're cooked.
They're cooked.
They're totally cooked. There's no. But look, for them, if they don't have Burrow, they're cooked anyway. They weren't going anywhere else. Like, the best thing you do is scratch and claw. They are not a team that's scratching and clawing and trying to get the postseason, and that's going to make their fan base happy. Like, they are in the middle of a go win a Super Bowl window.
Yes.
And he is hurt.
Well, and since the Super Bowl, it's been step down.
Yeah.
And now step down.
Super Bowl, AFC Championship, and then they were needing to be right back there. So that's not going to happen now, but that'll be fascinating to see what happens with. I'm fascinated on the gambling thing, like how the league handles that.
That should be
they got to be swift.
A swift and harsh punishment. And I would say, and then would you say the third story, Carissa Thompson?
I was either do that or Flacco flying coach into here, one of the two.
It's either
you can pick which one you want. You choose your own adventure.
All right. So on the Carissa side of it, wild, and her statement today trying to walk it back.
Tell the people what happened so that they know. Because I think it is a story that if you're on social or you're in our business, you're aware of it. But I don't know that people outside would be.
Probably true. So Carissa Thompson went on Pardon My Take.
Mm-hmm. Very, very popular podcast.
Great.
One of the
number
biggest,
one sports
one of the
podcast.
most popular, yeah.
And said that early in her career, and she had said it before, so she said, I'd said this before, so I have no problem saying it again. I just think we live in a different world now, and Barstool is a little going to get magnified more than her saying on Aaron Andrews' podcast. No offense to Aaron Andrews, who's great, but Barstool's going to tweet it out, which they did, and then it's just going to spread.
Then it goes, yeah.
So she said that early in her career, at times if she couldn't get a coach or couldn't get somebody that she was supposed to, she would make up her sideline reports.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're talking from Andrea Kramer in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
Tafoya. Everybody who's currently on the sidelines, crushing her.
Yeah, because it undermines what they do.
It undermines their integrity. And they said, for women, it's been tough to get credibility, and this just completely undermines our credibility. And then Carissa Thompson issued a statement today.
Yep.
Which I don't know if I would say that this made it better or did not make it better, but she basically said, let's address the elephant in the room. I have a responsibility to myself and my employers to clarify what is being reported. When on a podcast this week, I said I would make up reports early in my career when I worked as a sideline reporter before I transitioned to my current host role. Working in media, I understand how important words are, and I chose the wrong words to describe the situation. I'm sorry. I've never lied about anything or been unethical during my time as a sports broadcaster. Where's the second? There's a second part of this, which I'm looking for. And then the second part, she says, what I really mean is, here we go. In the absence of a coach providing in information that could further my report, I would use any information that I learned and saw during the first half to create my report. For example, if a team was 0 for 7 on third down, that would clearly be an area they need to improve on in the second half. In these instances, I never attribute anything I said to a player or coach. I have nothing but respect for sideline reporters and for the tireless work they put in behind the scenes and on the field. I'm only appreciative and humbled to work alongside some of the best in the business and call them some of my best friends. I don't know. I mean,
oh, I do. You know exactly what happened. Look, so first of all, she
was
a sideline reporter on a lot. What she is now, she wasn't at that time.
Correct.
She was on Big Ten Network. She was on some FS1 stuff, low-level college football. She's never been in the position that like Andrea Kramer's in or that Aaron Andrews is in now. Any of that. Armin Katayan back in the day. Like that type. That's not what she was. She's never been that. So she's always been on very lightly watched as a sideline person. She was on one of the most popular entertainment entities that we have. She tried to sound cool because for whatever reason we live in a world now where everyone wants to act like that not caring is cool.
Yep.
So it's kind of like, oh, it's no big deal. I did this.
Yep.
Trying to act cool.
No
and
snaps.
got. And did not think about how doing something for free to promote yourself and your brand on an ultra popular thing with kind of a, hey, we're cooler than that because we don't care attitude, which is kind of Barstool's whole operation, was going to come back to haunt you when you get paid probably quite lucratively by both Amazon and Fox to be on the NFL coverage. And there was no thought to that because you're in the moment. You're thinking, I'm with these guys. These guys are cool. They're hip. They'll think this is funny. So I'm going to give them a funny line here. And that's what she did. And I don't know if it'll get her or not. Fox is usually pretty tolerant with all this type of stuff, so my hunch is she'll be fine.
Because she's not in that role now. I think if she were, her bread and butter was still that she was a sideline reporter, that she was an Aaron Andrews or Kaylee Hartung.
Who, by the way, provided incredible insight while the Burrow stuff was happening yesterday.
Yes, she was great.
And I would tell you that, like, and you did sidelines for a great many years on the radio here, and I've always thought that like the interview part of it is the least useful.
Totally.
What I find most useful is observations.
Yes.
Hey, this is what I'm seeing down here. The wind is going left to right across the field. Those type of things, like what Kaylee did last night with the Burrow injury. Like that's the value.
Yes.
Like
things that you can see that aren't being seen.
A 3-question with Nick Saban as he's going off the field while playing Chattanooga is worthless.
He's not going to.
There's nothing there.
Yes.
Like what you want is what's happening on the field, and so it's one of those things where just the juice was not worth the squeeze at all for her.
No.
And I'm surprised she didn't see it. Quite honestly, look at that guy.
Agreed.
What is he? What shoes are he wearing? What's he got there?
Those are like the trainers. They're
okay.
Weightlifting. Yeah. Weightlifting shoes.
Yeah. So that's where I was on that.
All right. And then the fourth story.
Flacco.
And not just Flacco, but I was on with Mo Pedman this morning. I do as I am every Friday.
Sure.
You've been here a long time in this media scene. Gibbe, you've been here a long time in this media scene. How many times have we seen so-and-so's at the airport?
Oh, my God.
So-and-so's looking at a house in Strongsville. All the pictures, all of it. And this time it's actually real.
It's amazing.
We finally got somebody who got Joe Flacco on a plane with a lady in a Cincinnati Red stocking cap.
Amazing.
And it was real.
Yeah.
It was actually real for the first time. So I said on the show, I was like, Cleveland is now 1 for 100,000 on these.
Right.
But now we have one to hang our hat on for the picture. Oh, he was at the airport on his way to Cleveland. It was actually real. And I think that to me might be the best part of this whole story.
Yeah, that it is actually real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco is a guy, size, arm, all of it, who still showed last year, and unfortunately we, the Browns, know because we saw it,
we lived it
firsthand week 2, who can still sling the ball around a little bit. Last year was 58%, not great. 1,051 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 picks, rating of 75. So this isn't elite. There's a reason he's not in the league, but he is a guy that I think if you told him, hey, you need to come in and steward the ship, that he could. Obviously, the hope is DTR goes out there and is great, and we never have to play Joe Flacco or even consider it. But he's a guy that's a veteran that has been a part of playoff teams, big games, obviously in this division, certainly. And so you're giving him a look.
Yeah, I think everything, like, we don't have Nick Chubb. We don't have the starting tackles that we thought we were going to have. DTR's physical gifts are much more needed for this team to reach its ceiling than Joe Flacco's physical gifts are. He can still do he can still do a lot of things in a pinch, but ideally DTR does not have to be top 15 quarterback. Nothing like that.
Take care of the football.
Take care of the football and make some plays
with your arm
feet
and your legs.
Yeah, that's it. So
I've
like insurance upon insurance. Yeah,
I've been saying it all along. It's RPOs or it's clearly defined one reads, and if that's not there, go. Tuck it and go and make a positive play.
Yeah, that's it. We do have some injury news to get to you on. Thornhill, Marquise Goodwin are both out Sunday. DeJuan Jones is questionable for Sunday, but is practiced.
Yeah, and he was able to do some work in practice today. Again, you'll see kind of how it progresses, but Jaron Christian will start at left tackle. Okay. It's just a matter of will DeJuan start at right tackle. And if DeJuan is able to start at right tackle, then James Hudson goes back to his role as the extra offensive lineman and backup swing tackle on either side.
There you go. Those are your hot topics of the day presented by Vivid Seats. They were quite hot.
These were flaming.
A lot going on.
Hot.
There's a lot going on in the sports world, kids. Official fan experience partner of your Cleveland Browns. Wyatt Teller up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Pet Supplies Plus give you a chance to win tickets to home games all season long while providing the best deals for your pet. 75 stores throughout Ohio. Enter to win at clevelandbrowns.com/Pet Supplies Plus. Receive a coupon to use at your local store with your entry. Pet Supplies Plus is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. And now here's Z with Wyatt Teller.
Very happy now to be joined by
You're down.
the show two-time Pro Bowl guard, Wyatt Teller. And Wyatt, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't start this interview by saying what tremendous Christmas pictures you and the family have produced for the 2023 holiday season. A really remarkable photo shoot. How did you come up with all those great ideas?
Yeah, it's my wife. I think that while the photographer we went through she's amazing and super talented, and her backgrounds are gorgeous and stuff, it was expensive. It's like, how do photos? How does someone just pressing a little button, get that much? But she's, I'm all jokes. She's
an artiste.
Yeah, our photographer is she's super talented, and she creates great products. So
I mean, really, they're just capturing the essence of you and your family.
But my phone was in my pocket, and I said, hey, we're spending all this money. Isn't she supposed to be the one that tells me to get my phone out of my pocket? No, but all jokes aside, Photos look great. Brooks look great. My wife looked great. I look like crap, but what's new?
I don't agree with your assessment of your own appearance in those. All right, big win last week. What was that kind of like, being a part of that on the road in Baltimore, down 14, and you guys kind of just imposing your will, especially on that final drive, to get the job done?
Yeah, no, we kept it close. Obviously I don't like spotting the teams. Especially divisional teams that we're playing, spotting them points. But, it wasn't a perfect game, but, we fought, showed the resiliency. I know that's a word that's being passed around, but, compared to some of the teams that I've been on, this is an extremely resilient team, and, we're able to fight. But, again, it was one game. It's very important. It's hard to beat that team, but we didn't win the Super Bowl, so we still got a lot of games to win. It was good to see 4 play well, and, it's sad that we're missing them, but, it's just one of those things, when Jack went down early in the season, it was next man up, and no one expected a rookie to go do it, and the rookie's been doing it. He ended up getting hurt, and we've had someone else have to come in, so it just shows you that the NFL is all about turnover, so, we got to be able to play, and, if you think, I always make this joke to rookies, but rookies, they think they get a year to redshirt like it's in college. No, no. You got to be ready, and willing to go at any time.
Talk to me about the play that people are calling the dog pile, where you guys just push Jerome Ford and the Ravens down the field. Was that as much kind of fun, childlike football as you've gotten to play in a long time?
It felt like my lungs were about to rip out of my chest because those guys are pretty heavy. But no, we were all, I remember when we first created contact, Poe was right to my left, and he was like, push, like a guy on a boat, row. But it was just funny. We got kind of under him. We were lifting him. I think I had Dave in my arms. Someone else had Jerome in there, so we were able to push it. But when you have to close a game out like that, all jokes aside, that's a special moment.
Obviously, in the film room, I'm sure you guys got a great kick out of that. Hudson celebrating. You even had Elijah.
He was even down. He was clapping. He was 10 more yards down the field, and I'm like running after him, like about to give him a high five, and I'm like, all right, let's get back to the huddle. But no, it was a special moment. And like I said, we didn't win the Super Bowl, but it was a big game, and I'm happy about that.
You mentioned new guys. Next year, they're new right tackle, new left tackle, and that was his first game with the Cleveland Browns. And you play a Ravens, a team, they run a lot of those TE stunts, so that requires really good tackle guard communication. Sometimes they try to spin and they meet Wyatt Teller, but that's then we'll talk about that in a second. How impressed were you, and how pleased were you for you guys to be able to kind of handle a lot of that stuff?
Yeah, no, I mean, they still, how talented that front is, and that scheme, and those coaches, and that whole team. It's you got to be able to bat it 1,000%, and if you're not, you can really feel it. That team, same team that we're not same team, but very similar to the team we're going to be playing this week. You have to be on top of your P's and Q's, or they can really make mistakes, or they can take advantage of mistakes really fast. There was a couple ETs and TEs that we want to pick up, but I think out of the 25 or so pressures they ran to us, I think we picked up 20 out of 25. And when you're going against the best pass rushers in the league, in our division, we have unbelievable pass rushers, and to be able to do that against that front is special.
What's more gratifying to you, a Superman block like we saw against the Cincinnati Bengals a couple of years ago, or what you were able to do in the Baltimore Ravens game there, where you got to really take somebody out?
Yeah, I mean, those games are pretty cool, but I'd rather be in a Super Bowl having a big moment like that, or in the playoffs.
Aspirational, I like it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's cool, it's special, but I remember that playoff game and the Honey Badger coming off the edge, and that going viral for what felt like 10 months, because it was every single Browns fan just living in Eden and feeling so happy that we had won one playoff game, and kind of changing the almost changing the culture here, where it's like, this big play, this, pancake block, whatever, you want to call it, is splash play, was in the playoffs. It was when it needs. And, after the game, everybody was hype and, hooping and hollering. I'm just like getting a little emotional, because it's like, you always want to perform at your best when the game's on the line. And I felt like we did. And that's, it's one of those things where, you're still happy, you're still enjoying it, but you're just like kind of somber, because you're thankful for being able to execute when you needed to.
Well, this is not a playoff game technically, but it's going to have a playoff feel. 6-3 Browns, 6-3 Steelers. Depending on what happens Thursday Night Football, this game could be for first place in the AFC North. Are you excited for this one, getting back in front of the home crowd, and what do you expect it to be like?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm excited back to do is get our fans screaming at these Steelers on the field, and I feel like last time we almost had it and dropped it at their house, and even though we lost, it still felt like all those fans were like kind of they were. Hey, we're lucky we got that one. You know what I mean? So, hopefully we can come in and kick that butt.
Get you out of here on this one. First time DTR started, it was under very, let's call it unique circumstances, right? Didn't know that he was starting. Wasn't his team at that point. Well, now it is his team. How's he been kind of this week settling into that role as you guys get ready for the final 8 games of what we hope is a very, very successful and productive season?
Yeah, no, I pray for his success. I pray for his health. If we do our job and we're able to establish the run, pass when we need to pass, if we come out and pass 75 out of 75 plays and he executes at a high level, we're going to be hard to beat. And if we run the ball 75 out of 75 times with him behind there and we execute, we're going to be a hard team to beat. So we just have to. It's all about execution. It's all about doing our jobs, being your 111th. Doing your job to the best of your ability. And I know that I trust 1-7. I know that he's gonna come back and show that he's a very talented person. Another game, that last Ravens game, I felt a little messed up because I was just like, I feel so bad because you're a young buck, and this is a sink or swim league. Yep. And I don't
30.
You're not a good player because, dude. Really good players have been humbled in this league. So I've been humbled in this league. I've been humbled last week. Even though I had a good game, there's plays where I was on my back or on my butt and it didn't look good. So we all have them. But as long as we're able to kind of right the ship, kind of get back into the office and get back to that level of winning, I think that we'll be special, and I know that DTR can do that. I know that PJ can do that. It was good to see 4 do that. It's sad, but that's the NFL.
It is. Why? Thank you so much. Yes, have fun on.
You're up.
All right, good stuff from Wyatt and Z there. We'll do a little over-under coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet. Sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Elk and Elk, serious lawyers, serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio for a free case review. Elk and Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. You and I were talking in the break.
My bad.
You're all right. You're good. It's just really aggressive. We were talking in the break of the Dave Portnoy tweet, and this is what we were talking about in regard to the Burrow non-disclosure of injury. He put a little bit of cash on that and is now not pleased.
He said he's filing a class action lawsuit against the NFL and the Bengals for not disclosing the injury because he bet $120,000. I think it was $120,000 on the Bengals last night, and obviously lost.
And we were talking in the break. That one was 3.5, I think, when we did it yesterday.
Yes.
And you nailed all of the scores yesterday, and you said it would have been what without
10?
Yeah,
maybe more.
maybe more. Yeah,
10
Yeah.
for sure.
You have got to have transparency with
Yes.
that injury report, especially at that position more than any other. And to not disclose that and have an image of him in a sling on his hand.
By the way, speaking of injury news, and we'll get the official
That's brutal.
Gibbe have Uno on it from the Steelers, but no Minkah Fitzpatrick or Keanu Neal at practice today. Keanu Neal had a pick last week. Minkah Fitzpatrick, obviously one of the best safeties. Trenton Thompson is likely to start at safety. Trenton Thompson is on their practice squad currently, and he would be likely to start at safety. Or
So
at least
were they
on their
thinking
practice
that
squad is the beginning of the
Minkah would
week.
be back for this game, and then it's not happening?
So I think that they were hopeful, but then Keanu Neal, who had a pick last week against Green Bay, got hurt. That was his first pick of the season. He got hurt in that one. He played 56 snaps. So they're down to DeMonte KZ, and then they'll have this Trenton Thompson or Miles Killebrew, who's really just a special teams player. They're without their top two cover linebackers. Cole
Yeah.
Holcomb went on IR, and then this last week, Quan Alexander went on IR. Now they're without their top two cover safeties. They are depleted on defense.
This is one of those ones where this is why we were so excited for it. And we are again now, but
Yes.
even more so with a healthy 4, what you felt like you could have.
Trenton Thompson
Pounded
has
them.
played 2 games in his career. Last week was the first game he played, and he played 7 snaps.
All right, there you go. Time for a little over-under, gentlemen. Last week, the price of Monopoly just went up. Zagura, 5-0. A perfect 5-0 week. Gibbe, 3-2. 3-2.
All right.
So, as we head into this week's game with Pittsburgh, Zagura 10 games over 500, 25-15. Gibbe, the same, 25-15 is your records. All right, Zagura,
Yeah, baby.
you're back, baby.
Gibbe, 5. What was I again this week?
5-0.
Gibbe, how's that sound?
Hey, thanks for joining us.
No, I was running it back so that he would say
I
that
just
I would
was
5-0
making sure you were
again.
paying attention.
Get
over
it
there,
again?
'cause it didn't look like you were paying attention. There was no
There were
reaction.
notes.
At the
There were
first
notes.
5-0.
Well, there's some breaking news from Pittsburgh, number 1. Number 2, I did hear it. He'd
Well,
already told
I mean,
me in the
that-
break,
that
so I
gets-
already knew it.
That
and
gets
then I
done
wanted
at
to see
3
it.
o'clock when the show ends.
One day.
Or you're in your car at 3:05. One of the two.
Same.
One day.
All right, here you go. Zagura, this one for you. You kick it off this week.
Yeah, that's right.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson, total yards accounted for. We are looking for an over-under of 175.5.
Total yards.
Total yards.
Over.
All right. Gibbe?
Yeah, it has to be over.
Does it? I was just going to ask you guys. Do you think it
It
I
does?
said it at
Over.
200.5. Does it have to? No, but the way I look at it is he was at 154 in a game where it felt like we weren't even on the field at all as an offense and
Sure.
was dreadful against Baltimore. So we're asking for 22 more yards than that performance.
Yeah.
I feel like that feels reasonable.
Yeah. Next.
Over, under.
All right, we're looking for running back rushing yards only. Rush yards only. Okay? Running back rush yards only. Over under. Our running backs versus Warren and Harris, Gibbe. You get 3 for 2 on our side.
We end up with the better numbers.
So over.
Over. Our defense is. I'm tired of hearing about them. I don't.
All right?
It's time to just put the foot on the throat and squash this bug.
So they've been running it like 34 times the last 2
Yeah.
weeks, 180 yards per game they've averaged running the football.
They're toting it.
They're toting the rock. We're going to tote the rock in this one. Now, I think we're going to get more of our total rushing yard from our quarterback than they will. So I think that we're going to end up out-rushing them on the day
As a team.
but their running backs will run for more yards than our running backs.
All right, there you go. Under.
No belief.
Next.
Total belief.
Over, under.
All right. This is a receiver parlay here. You get Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore. Over, under, Pickens and Johnson.
Oof.
Can we
Yeah.
can we throw Chief and Freiermuth into it?
No. Sorry.
I love this.
Browns.
Hey, can we do this? Can we do this? What about this?
No.
How do we twist this?
Over for Zagura. So Cooper and Elijah over Pickens and Deontay Johnson.
I feel like under.
All right. Under. Next.
If Chief
Over,
were in there, I'd be
under.
no belief.
Sacks, interceptions, fumbles.
Sweet.
Gibbe. You've gotten this right like all season. Sacks, interceptions, fumbles. The number this week is 5.5.
Oof.
5.5 sacks plus turnovers.
I'm going just under that.
Under.
I would say 4 is my number.
You guys love a 3.5.
Well,
That's a layup.
That's taking candy from a baby.
I think that's an awful big number, and the Pukers don't turn it over much.
Yeah, last time we would have been at 3.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe 4. They had a fumble as well. Gunnar Olszewski had a fumble, so we would have been at 4. And you're asking us to get to 6?
I'm asking you to get to 6 at home.
Under. We're gonna be at 5.
All righty. Next.
Over, under.
Here we are looking for the actual, and this one goes to you, Zagora. This is one of the lowest I've seen. This is like an Iowa football game over-under,
Ooh.
which they share the same uniform, so maybe it's appropriate. And both win with sorcery. 32.5.
I did not know what it was. That's what I wrote
That's
down.
what I wrote down, yeah.
What was his number? I didn't see it.
He wrote down 33.
Yeah, I'm going over. Not by a lot, but going over.
All right, Zagora.
Same.
Over.
Yeah.
To me, it feels like if it's under, we win.
I think if it's either, we win.
Well, for sure. But I like the odds better than if it's under.
I don't know about that with the whole under.
I think we can
that-
slugfest them.
Yes.
I think as long as we don't give them touchdowns, it's going to be very difficult for them to move the ball.
I would
So
agree
then,
with
Yes.
if it's under that, then
I
I like
think
our
that
chances.
the
I don't
reason-
know that. Can we score enough?
I think
It's a
they're
lot out of DTR.
their
Like you
D
can
is
see
not
Pickens
great.
getting loose though.
So I just watched this, and I just watched them again against Green Bay.
Yeah.
They're struggling to cover. Joey Porter Jr. is good, but he holds a lot.
Yeah.
The rest of their team is struggling in coverage, and now they're going to be without their safeties and their middle linebackers. I mean,
If Watson were playing this game, we would say slump city.
slump. If Deshaun was playing, I think we'd beat him by. I think
Could bury him.
we'd beat him by 20.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, coming up next, your keys to victory, your Friday forecast. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Browns fans, you can enter for a chance to win season tickets for the 2024 season from Sugardale and your local Meijer. Head to browns.com/contest to enter now, and don't forget to grab Sugardale bacon on your next trip to Meijer. Speaking of Sugardale, Rob Height, Vice President of Marketing and Retail of Sugardale, joins us now on the Twisted Tea Hotline, brought to you by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. We have bacon and beer. It is Sunday, Rob. Thanks so much for taking the time. What can our fans look forward to experiencing on Sunday?
Well, thanks for having me, guys. We're very, very excited to be partnering with Bud Light to do a unique game day experience on Sunday. So it's the Bacon and Beer game, and we're going to kick things off on Dog Pound Drive. We're going to rename it Sugardale Bacon Boulevard for Sunday. So 10 to 1 we'll be out there with Bud Light. We'll have bacon-themed food items. We'll have music and, of course, Bud Light for purchase. So very excited about that. And then when folks get into the game, we're going to have some menu items featuring Sugardale bacon, so we'll have a bacon-wrapped hot dog available, chicken bacon ranch cheesesteak, chicken bacon ranch pizza, so lots of fun stuff happening at the game on Sunday with Sugardale bacon.
Yeah, and so Dog Pound Drive is going to be transformed into this exciting tailgate atmosphere at the Bud Light Beer Garden, Sugardale Bacon Boulevard. It will open at 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. You mentioned the various bacon-themed food items and Bud Light available for purchase. This is an exciting kind of a collab, and this is a pretty exciting game. How excited are you that this is happening? Browns, Steelers, Sugardale, and Bud Light, bacon and beer coming together on what should be an unbelievable Sunday at Cleveland Browns Stadium.
Tell you what, could not be a better game. Will be a fantastic atmosphere, and the number one bacon in Northeast Ohio, partnering up with the number one beer in Northeast Ohio to support the number one team and the best fans in the NFL. So we can't wait.
Let's go.
Let's go, buddy. And the fun doesn't end there. In fact, from November 15th through December 31st, so this starts now, you can get a $5 rebate when you purchase a Bud Light 12-pack and a pack of Sugardale bacon at participating Northeast Ohio retailers. I am a big fan of bacon, Rob. My children are big fans of bacon. What is your preferred bacon cooking method?
You know, usually I do it on the stovetop because it's quick, but I will tell people out there that if you put it in the oven, it's the most even cook. So I will tell you that.
I learned that it's probably been in the last 6 months I picked up on it. You put down like the wax, is it the wax? Parchment paper. Parchment paper.
That's right.
And you do that and you cook it. I want to say it's like 400, and every one of them comes out the same, and you don't get the splatter all over you.
It's perfect, and it's
nice.
Easy cleanup, right? So my wife doesn't get upset with me. I got grease all over the stove.
That's the grief I'm getting. So I'm like, look, let's find another way. It's a game changer.
We end up with like a grease thing that sits there forever. And this sounds amazing. Are you a chewy bacon, Rob? Chewy or crispy?
I like a little crisp, man. You can't have it too chewy. Although I've got one son that likes it crispy, and I got another that likes it chewy. So I got to vary my method, you know.
Yeah, I'm chewy. I like it.
You're chewy. I'm a crisp.
Gum,
I like
baby.
a little crisp.
I like bacon
gum. That's bacon. Anything's a win.
Bacon anything. It's a
You're
huge
not losing
win.
it anyway.
Of course not. Rob, when you mentioned some of the bacon-themed food items that will be inside for this tailgate, people, they're going to probably need to soak up maybe some activity that has begun well before 10 a.m. And perhaps even the night before. What are they going to have in the bacon and beer in that Dog Pound Drive area?
Yeah, so I understand there's going to be some live music down there, which will be great. There'll be Bud Light available for purchase, and then we're going to have some surprise bacon items down there as well.
Ooh, surprise.
But great way to kick off, right between 10 and 1. That's like primetime bacon time on a Sunday morning.
I got a recipe. There was a recipe for bacon-wrapped dogs that you cook in the oven with like brown sugar as an app.
Yeah.
Spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
That's a win for everybody, too. I mean, it's not a tailgate without bacon, Rob.
That's right, and if you got Bud Light and bacon at your tailgate, I understand that the tailgate crew is going to be walking around taking pictures, so you might end up on the scoreboard during a game. So bring Sugardale bacon and Bud Light to your tailgate.
You're exactly right. 21 and over fans can participate by having Bud Light and Sugardale as a part of their tailgates, and will get the chance to appear on the scoreboard for the sights and sounds of the Dog Pound feature. It's going to be unbelievable. So get your Sugardale bacon, get your Bud Light, and get ready for the Browns and the Steelers.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Rob, thank you.
Thank you so much. It's going to be fun, man.
It's going to be sizzling.
You never knew that? I
never heard of it before in my life.
I said it as if I've known it my whole life. I've only known about it for about the last year. But it changes everything about
I can't wait.
The bacon cooking process.
I can't wait.
Friday's forecast, it's presented by Carrier. Carrier, turn to the experts. Gibby, what do we have? What do we have on Sunday? What's our forecast?
Well, there's going to be an appearance by you. So Mother Nature said, let me bless you with some
Let's go.
nice weather. Can I interest you in 49, 50 degrees and sunshine?
Let's go. Now we got to get that dog over for Bootsy to make. He was so close this morning.
Now,
oh my God.
will you go Dog Pound
Teetering.
Drive? You can go see the real dog.
Oh yeah, we'll go see Swag.
I was going to say.
We'll SJ. We'll find him, but then we need to get we got to get Chomps
Chomps.
too. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, 5 to 10 miles per hour on the winds, so we're good there. It's good. For November, the week before
You're
Thanksgiving,
not doing better than this.
I'm pretty sure this is about as good as you're going to
Yeah.
get.
Yeah, you're going to get all the rain out of the way today. Today's
glorious.
pure crud. Pure crud today, but then
We
it'll-
knew it, though.
You did, and you had good days leading up to it, so I guess it was all part of it. All right, our good buddy Steve Wyche, NFL Network, going to join us coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN. Rumpke Waste Recycling, recycling leader in Cleveland, family owned and operated. They know how to take care of your waste responsibly, whether you're a resident or a business. Learn more visiting rumpke.com. And now we head out on the Twisted Tea Hotline, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it Twisted Cleveland, the NFL Network's chief natural reporter, host of the NFL Report. He's a great friend of the program, Steve Wyche, joining us now. Steve, thank you so much for taking the time. You had Joel Bitonio on the program yesterday, and we've been in the building. It's been honestly a roller coaster this week of emotion of losing Deshaun and then trying to rally for a big game against the Steelers. What did you gather from your conversation with Joel in terms of what the team's approach will be?
Well, thanks so much for having me on. And, it's interesting. I've been around the Browns, enough for years to say that, a setback like Deshaun getting hurt or something like that, players would hang their heads. They would just be like, oh, gosh, we can't have nice things around here. He made it seem like, because DTR has been there all season, they feel comfortable. I mean, they've had to deal with quarterback transition all season long, offensive line transition all season long, and he's not looking at it like, oh, this is just another thing. It's like, let's go. Like DTR came into that huddle Monday, his first time working with the ones in this type of scenario, is confident. You guys know DTR. He does not lack confidence, but is confident and is in control of the huddle as anybody. And that alone right there was disarming to everybody else. Like, all right, cool, this guy's ready for it. Let's go. Now it's just practice. We'll see how things step up Sunday. But they feel, according to Joel, offensively, they feel because their defense has been so good and everything like this, they're going to hold up their end of the deal. And again, I think it's because they've gone through so much constant musical chairs at almost every position this season that they're like, let's go. The attitude is different. Everyone feels confident in everybody else to do their job and not make mistakes, which could be good enough to win ball games with this defense.
You mentioned not making mistakes, and that's the key, right, against this Pittsburgh Steelers team that is 6-3 despite defying the odds. They're the first team to ever be outgained in each of the first 9 games and have a winning record, but it's because they capitalize on mistakes.
Yeah.
Takeaways. They beat us back in week 2 with 2 defensive touchdowns, 4 total takeaways. How do the Browns, in your mind, kind of with DTR now, and maybe Joel shed some light on this, how do we make sure we take care of the football? Because I feel like if that part is even, the Browns have should beat the Steelers.
Well, I mean, you think about it. What do the Browns do well? They run the football. Yep. I mean, even losing Nick Chubb. Remember, they lost him in this game. Ford has stepped in, and they run the football well. But, yeah, sure. But, I mean, of course, that's the simple solution, right? Just run the football and don't turn it over. Well, I think DTR's ability to run the football is also going to add something to this. Because even though Deshaun is a mobile quarterback, he scrambles, right? He moves to throw. DTR, they might have something in here, some scheduled runs, and they want to protect him, but they may add some RPO-type stuff for him specifically to keep this defense off guard, because as we know, the Steelers' defensive strength is on their edges with Highsmith and Watt. If they can get them running horizontally a little bit and then occasionally, more so than not, punch it up the middle where they're so strong guard to guard, they've really got an opportunity to dominate the clock, to protect the football, get a lead on the Steelers, which we know they're not great at playing from behind until they get into the fourth quarter, and possibly force some mistakes by Pittsburgh's offense. I mean, again, this is the easy solution, and most people at the water cooler can think of this, but this is the way more and more teams in the NFL, not just the Browns, have had to win games this season. It is kind of a widespread contagion that some teams like the Steelers are showing can be done.
Steve, we've been calling it sorcery.
Yeah.
I mean, Steelers are outgained every week. Last week they throw a backwards pass that somehow isn't a fumble. I mean, they had negative 12 yards against us in the game over there in the fourth quarter and won somehow. Like, at some point, please, that has to revert, does it not?
You would think the law of averages would say yes, but it's crazy. And now, you don't know Joe Burrow's situation, down in Cincinnati. Now it's kind of like, has any team kind of gained more from some of these injuries than the Steelers? Like, what can't break their way? It's just such a weird deal. But again, this is where statistics lie, right? The whole thing now in the NFL is turnover margin and red zone defense, and that is where the Steelers excel. And that kind of goes to show you, analytically speaking, that those are the most important defensive stats in a game.
You're exactly right. Number 1 in takeaways, number 4 in the red zone so far this season, despite being they don't go to the red zone as an offense ever, but doesn't matter. They figure out a way to get the job done. Steve, you mentioned Joe Burrow. Let's just kind of big picture. What do you make of the situation last night? The rumblings that we've heard that the NFL will now be looking into this. What do you make of everything that transpired from the picture going up, picture coming down, the game, the way it unfolded?
I mean, look, let's suppose that they did do something dubious and didn't put him on the injury report. That's a fine. I mean, they're not going to suspend Joe Burrow if he's healthy.
Sure.
One of the best players in the league. They're not going to bench him. So, I mean, that is what it is. I mean, the bigger issue is they've got 5 losses right now. They're 500. And when you look at the AFC playoff picture, this may diminish the win total from 10 games to 9 to get into the postseason. But look at how good they have to be the rest of the way. I mean, that's a difficult thing, knowing some of the injuries that they've got going on defense, knowing that they have not been able to put together the type of run that we expect them to make, and knowing that there's teams like the Texans who have a much lighter schedule, who are surging, who could, basically Wally Pipp them. Like, they're in real jeopardy now of making the playoffs because of the abundance of injuries and the inconsistencies that they've had.
Steve, how seriously does the NFL take the injury report? Obviously, much has changed in the last decade in terms of we're partnering with betting services. The number went off yesterday at 4. If Burrow is known to have had an injury, it's 10 probably is what it would have been. How seriously do you think the NFL will send a message here to the Bengals with it? I agree with you. Obviously, it won't have anything to do with Burrow in terms of none of that, nor should it. But in terms of that organization, how seriously will the NFL take this in your mind?
Well, the NFL is going to take it seriously. I mean, I'm not going to speak to the gambling aspect of it. I frankly can't. But it's something. Look, they don't want coaches to flout the injury stuff, because once one team's kind of excused from it, then okay, we've seen teams flout it before, and so they wanted to be serious for the game, in the name of transparency and fairness and things like that. But in terms of punishment, it probably it could be a significant fine if they found this. But there's also been cases like Jalen Hurts this year. He hasn't been on the injury report, but we know he's had a knee issue, and that's because their coach is like, he's fully participated. We've listed when he's fully participated. We've listed when he's been a limited participant in practice. We haven't denied anything. And if he's fully practiced, we don't have to put him on the injury report. And now the full practice and limited, that's up to the discretion of the coach of what they consider full practice. When I covered the NBA years ago in Miami, when Pat Riley was coaching them, if an injured player could ride the stationary bike at full speed for 30 minutes, that was considered to him full participation. So there are ways to kind of manipulate the semantics to your favor. So, again, the NFL will investigate it. What will come out of it, I can't see anything significant, to be honest.
I know that the Browns that we're talking about this Sunday against the Steelers are not the same team, obviously, with the Deshaun Watson injury that we just saw beat the Ravens. But as you watched that game unfold, what was kind of your takeaway coming out of that game for this Browns team here in 2023?
Whoa! My biggest takeaway, honestly, was that second half Deshaun played. Now we come to find out he was on a high ankle sprain and a fractured shoulder. He finally seemed to be feeling it, right? Yeah. It seemed to be natural and just second nature to him. And I was like, man, if he can play like that the way the rest of the team has been playing, Cleveland might have a shot to go to the Super Bowl.
Yep. And
so that was my biggest takeaway. So, you take that element away, and again, it goes back to what they've been doing all year. They've been running the ball well. The run-action pass was set up. Amari Cooper was fantastic. The emergence of Cedric Tillman. Then, of course, the way the defense is playing, and especially the linebackers. We don't talk about how well that group has been playing with Anthony Walker. I mean, some of the things that group has been done behind that great front has been just astonishing. And I think they're going to have to really step up, in a game like this. But, it just really sucks, that injury, when you say to yourself, okay, this looks like the guy we remember. It's the first time I felt like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but that's the first time it really seemed to be second nature to him.
Yeah, that's the way it felt to us. And then it felt
Totally.
like you were getting a Pittsburgh team here this week, and there could be finally kind of a passing of the torch. And look, you're still going to have a chance to beat them on Sunday. Very, very good chance. I think this Browns defense is unbelievable. Let me ask you, we haven't discussed this defense and how good it's been. It has been historically good at the start of this season.
Yep.
And is it how far can this defense take this team in your view, Steve?
Far. When I say far, I could take them to the playoffs and get them some wins. I mean, who in the AFC is just immovable object or is lighting it up offensively? The Dolphins are lighting it up offensively, but we've seen when they've come up against a pretty tough team, they can't win.
Yeah.
Right? Now that can start to change. Teams can gain their traction, but did the Jags? I mean, they're good. They've got a ton of weapons, but we saw San Francisco put the hammer on them last week. So, it's to me, because of the defense. As long as they don't turn the ball over the offense, they have an opportunity to be in every game, and we've seen it. I mean, P.J. Walker, those 2 games he started, he didn't look great, but they were able to split because this defense was able to do some things. And if they can generate some more takeaways, that only helps.
Yeah, it's going to be the key. They've got to be at least neutral or even in that takeaway battle. Now, Steve, when you go back to the beginning of the season, we don't make much about trades for kickers very often, but the Browns did, and Dustin Hopkins has been unbelievable and very instrumental in the fact that we are sitting here at 6-3. We don't win the Indy game without him. We certainly don't win last week without him. The game-winning field goal there. He's been 2-time AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Is that one of the bigger impact, underrated trades of this offseason?
I haven't thought about that, but I guess you could say so. I mean, the biggest acquisition, of course, is Jim Schwartz. But,
Sure.
You get a kicker, especially now that the elements are going to come into play, who's got ice in his veins, and who knows how the Browns are going to have to win games because of his leg. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to, probably more times than not. So if he continues at this pace, it really could turn out to be, a fantastic move. I'm so glad you brought that into the public purview.
This is our job.
It's our job. This is what we do.
This is what we do.
D-Hop.
Steve, thank you so much for your time. We love the show. Continued success. Thanks for your time today.
Appreciate you guys. Take care.
All right, that's Steve Wyche. NFL Report streams Monday and Thursday, 7:15 on NFL Network. Steve and James Palmer on that this week's version. Yesterday's, in fact, had Joel Bitonio on to talk about how this team can succeed with DTR and to preview the game against the Steelers on Sunday. For more on the Steelers, we'll go behind enemy lines with great friend of the program, Brooke Pryor, coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. OBM, the preferred copier and document services provider of the Cleveland Browns. Tackle any size office. Call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. It is the Browns. It is the Steelers. It is Sunday at 1. It is down on the lake. For the keys to victory, we go to Dr. Z.
All right. Just take care of business. Like, we are better
TCB
than this football team. TCB, AA, turn to earn, all of it.
Yep.
Act accordingly. Let's go. Number one, the most important thing, we have got to be neutral and or win the turnover battle.
I like it.
That is the most important thing against this team. The sole reason they are 6-3 is because they have found a way to take the football away 18 times in 9 games. That's 2 a week. 4 of those came against us. They have found a way to take it away 6 times. That's almost once a game in the red zone. 2/3 of their games, on average, they have taken the football away in the red zone. Those are points right off the scoreboard. They played a lot of close games. In fact, all of their games are close. So you can't let them take the football away from you. They are dead last in every offensive category amongst every team that has a winning record. There are 14 teams with winning records in the National Football League right now, down to 13 after last night. They would be last in every single offensive category amongst them. They are historically bad on offense for a team that is 6-3. So the Browns have to stop the run. That'll be key number 2. Stop the run and put the ball in the hands of Kenny Pickett. He is not.
I got Brooke.
He is not comfortable throwing over the middle of the field, and the Browns need to go ahead and stop him. Are you on number 3 real quick?
Yeah, you got time.
All right, number 3. So
those
those are
two,
the top 2.
And the third?
And then the third would be, in a game where I feel like you are the better team, do not let, and this goes back to the turnover battle was TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith, don't let special teams be a problem. We've been an excellent special teams unit. Don't let that somehow flip this game.
There you go. Those are your keys to a Browns victory. For the Steelers side of this, we head out on the Twisted Tea hotline, brought to you by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it Twisted Cleveland. Great friend of the program, ESPN NFL Nation Steelers reporter Brooke Pryor. Brooke, thanks for taking the time. Let's just start nuts and bolts injury report. Who's going to play for Pittsburgh on Sunday? Who is not?
Great question. I don't think we have the official injury report yet, but I would be surprised if we saw Minkah Fitzpatrick and Keanu Neal playing this weekend because neither guy practiced on Wednesday or Thursday. I think that's a pretty significant hit to their safety group. I'm not surprised that Minkah Fitzpatrick isn't playing. That always kind of felt like a long shot for this week, but Keanu Neal being out, he took the hit after he got the interception at the end of the Packers game, and wasn't quite sure what happened. You know, it's something with his ribs, obviously more severe than it initially appeared. But it looks like the Steelers will have to call up some guys from the practice squad to play back there.
And we've seen the name Trenton Thompson, played 7 snaps last week. But this is a guy who has not really played much in the NFL. Is that the guy who would probably be out there alongside DeMonte KZ?
Yes, that is my understanding after talking with him in the locker room not too long ago. He did have an interception in the preseason, but like he was telling us, that is the preseason. It is different than the NFL regular season. But I also wouldn't be surprised to see Patrick Peterson take some snaps at safety. He was moving all over the field in practice today, repping a bunch of different DB positions, which is something he said that he was excited to do at this stage in his career. He did a little bit last week against the Packers. He said that this is, he's always wanted to do this, and so it's fun for him to have a challenge after being in the league for as long as he has to take on something new and learn a different position at this point.
Well, there you go on that. Potentially what could be happening in the back end of that. Brooke, we look at this every week, and the Browns lived it over there with what happened in the fourth quarter of that game. And it's we say on the program sometimes, like, it feels like it's sorcery. I don't know how they're winning week in and week out. They're outgained every week. Last week they had a play that looked like it went backwards that was overturned. How is this team 6-3 with the way that they're playing?
Well, I mean, it's better to be lucky than good, right? Although if you say that to the guys in the locker room, they really take exception to that. I mean, today we were talking with Cam Hayward, and he was asked what he would say to people that are saying that they're winning with smoke and mirrors, and he was pretty blunt. He said, "Screw you," which, sorry for saying that on the radio, but those are his words.
Yeah.
He said, "We work too hard And guys have dedicated their lives to this. You know, we're winning. That's the important thing. He said it's just a cloud of smoke, what people are saying about the Steelers winning with smoke and mirrors. But to me, this is the difference between a well-coached team and a team that is not coached well. Yes, some of the things are outside of a coach's control, some of the rulings on the field, things like that. But when I look at a team like the Buffalo Bills that loses, you know, largely because they had 12 men on the field, the teams that are making the small mental mistakes that are sloppy, things like that to me indicate not good coaching. Mike Tomlin is a great coach, and the fact that the Steelers are 6-3 is in large part because of how detail-oriented he is and how detail-oriented he makes this entire team, particularly on the defense. I think that it just shows this is kind of what can happen when you have a strong identity. Maybe it's not necessarily an offensive identity, but an identity as an organization, which largely mirrors that of Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, they take the football away. That's not smoke and mirrors. 18 takeaways. You're number one in that. 6 in the red zone. Number one in that. You're the number 4 red zone defense. That's why you're able to win a lot of close games because, unfortunately, as you pointed out, the identity is not on the offensive side of the ball. But Brooke, it feels like the last 2 weeks they're trying to establish an identity, and that identity would be running the football. Their carries up by 10 compared to weeks 1 through 8 the last 2 weeks. Yards up by over 100 yards per carry, up over 2. Najee and Warren both got going last week, both over 80 with a touchdown. Is that a trend? We've seen Kenny Pickett below 200 yards 3 straight games. Is this team trying to play defense and ground and pound?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely what they have to do, and it is what they have done the last 2 weeks. And to me, I think that there's 2 things here that have really unlocked this run game. One is playing Broderick Jones at right tackle over Chuks Okorafor. He's been there the last 2 weeks. To me, it is no coincidence that is when the run game has had its best 2 outings of the year. They can be a much more athletic offensive line. We've seen him doing some pulls, things like that. That just they're creating more space. They're moving more. It's been a more dynamic run game. And the second thing is they've figured out the right combination of Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris, and that's more of a 50-50 balance instead of maybe a 75-25 favoring Najee Harris, because Jaylen Warren is an explosive back. Harris is the guy that is going to pick up, 4 or 5 yards on a good run. You want him to pick up, 3, 4, just kind of grind it out. Warren is, I think, much more dynamic. He is explosive. He can be your third down pass catching back. I think that he is just the full package, and he's a really good, he's more than just a change of pace type of guy. And in the last game, he and Najee Harris played the exact same number of snaps. I think Harris had 1 more carry, but just the combination of the 2 of them is really what's gotten this going. And I think it's kind of taken some of the pressure off of Kenny Pickett because, as we've seen, he's not taken that second-year jump that we expected to see him take after the way that he played in the preseason.
Pat Freiermuth is expected to be back, Brooke, and I wonder how does that return impact? You mentioned Broderick Jones, another rookie from Georgia, I think has been kind of instrumental in their run game as well, and that's the big tight end, Darnell Washington. How do you see Freiermuth coming back? And he's more of a pass catcher, not to say he's not a complete tight end, he is, but Washington at 6'7", 264 is like almost having an extra offensive lineman out there.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Darnell Washington has been really key in blocking and being that extra guy out there. But the Pat Freiermuth addition is interesting to me because while last year and the year before that, he was pretty involved in the offense and in the passing game. Last year, he averaged just over 6 targets a game. This year, when he was healthy, he's topped out at 4. I believe he had 4 targets in 3 games and just 1 target in one of the games because the Steelers are just not throwing to the middle of the field, and I think that that's something they've got to do. That's something that is missing from this offense, but for whatever reason, they seem to be allergic to that. They're looking to the sidelines. It's incredibly frustrating. It leaves such a thin margin of error, and Kenny Pickett has not been, to me, accurate enough in those throws. And then, of course, when you add in throwing it over the middle of the field, that's more opportunity for interceptions, which he hasn't thrown a pick in the last 2 games. But to me, I think that that's something that they need to include. I just don't know that they will.
Brooke, if Pittsburgh's to come over here, and obviously this is different with Dorian Thompson-Robinson getting his second start versus what it may have looked like with Deshaun Watson, what will the game plan for Pittsburgh be to get a victory? What will they attempt to do? What type of game will they attempt to play on Sunday?
I think Cam Hayward said it best. He said, we're not just playing Cleveland's offense, we're also playing the defense. And that's, in saying that, he means we've got to get turnovers. They've got to make these splash plays on defense, knowing that Cleveland's going to really run the ball. They're going to try to win the time of possession. It's going to be very much a grinded-out game. And Kim was saying, too, we know whenever our offense takes the field, they're playing a really good defense. So we have to make sure that we're doing everything we can to score the points on our side. And I think that he's absolutely right. This defense, I think for the Steelers to win or hope to win or at least keep it close, they're going to have a defensive score. And so I would look to have something like that happen. But I think that there's going to be
you've already gotten two.
Going to look to have a pretty big impact.
You've already gotten two against us.
It's going to be a big one.
No more. That's it. You're cut off.
So sorry.
That's it. Highsmith won. Watt won. That's it.
2 defensive scores this season.
That's all we're going to give you.
That's all they get.
That's all you get.
Brooke,
They're
thank
going
you.
to have to get maybe just one more.
One more, yeah. Brooke, thank you so much. We appreciate you a great deal. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
All right, that's Brooke Pryor, ESPN NFL Nation Steelers reporter on the Twisted Tea Hotline, brought to you by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. It's enough.
It's enough.
It's enough, yeah.
That's enough of that.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, public service announcement, projection is ugly.
It's ugly. You know it's not ugly? Bacon. Be sure to visit the Sugardale Bacon Boulevard and Bud Light Beer Garden on Dog Pound Drive before Sunday's game. Located on the south side of Cleveland Brown Stadium, this week's edition of Dog Pound Drive will feature a live band, Beer Garden, exciting Sugardale bacon food options. Bacon and beer opens at 10 a.m. And remember, if you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Enjoy responsibly. Time for a little segment we like to call The Scores. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily
baby.
On 850 ESPN Cleveland. Hey, Browns fans, you can enter for a chance to win season tickets for the 2024 season from Sugardale and your local Meijer. Head to browns.com/contest to enter now, and don't forget to grab Sugardale bacon on your next trip to Meijer. It is week 11. It is time for the scores, kids.
Oh, baby.
I like this. I like the game poster, by the way, this week.
It's a great one. Throwback, vintage, classic rivals.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like it.
Let's go. I'm excited, too. By the way, for those wondering, I mean, you've already heard it, but I'll tell you again. 12-2, 11-3, and there was not a single game that went off other than the Monday night game where one of us did not pick it correctly.
How about that?
The only one, because I had Indy and Houston.
Yep.
You had Dallas, rightfully so, and then the prime time got us. But we are both a very cozy. We're venturing into record territory, so we joke every year this can't keep up, and then every year
then it does.
Then it does.
The best year ever was year 2.
I'll have to look.
Or
I have
one,
them all.
there was one that
we're
was
at
like-
45 right now.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how much above that we've been.
No, I don't either. That's way
I feel
up
like
there.
we approached like 60.
There was one year we were
I'll have to
way
look.
up, but
Yeah,
this
but
is
this is
this
week.
is-
It's
this is
week
crazy.
10.
Yeah, there's room for more.
There's room for more. There's also room for coming, but we're gonna stay positive.
I don't know. Like it's an interesting week.
Yeah, big numbers.
Yeah.
Well, let's get right into it. Week 11 in the National Football League. We start off in Houston. The Houston Texans welcoming in the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray. Cardinals 0-5 on the road. Trap game for Houston. They've fallen victim to garbage teams this
They have,
season.
yeah.
The gutless Falcons got them a few weeks ago.
Ugh.
Almost
Houston-
got by Carolina
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Houston
Or did get got.
Did
Yeah,
get
did
got.
Carolina
got.
beat him. Yeah.
The guy kicked a field goal 8 times.
That's right. He just kept doing it.
Yeah. Bishop, lead us off.
I just think this is Vegas-y, as this is in the zone. I think it's a little too much. Like Kyler, fast track. He impressed me last week.
Agreed.
I could see Houston winning this game. I could also honestly see Arizona winning this game. It wouldn't
Also
surprise
agreed.
me in any way, shape, or form. For the sake of the scores, I'll go Houston 24, Arizona 21.
Same. And I feel like even if Houston's up, call it
Yep.
11, 10,
Yeah.
no problem. Kyler will be knocking him and Hollywood Brown. I'm with you. I like Arizona in this one as well. So same.
I found it odd that on the week that he was activated, both in NBC's league and in mine, I was able to pick him up. Now, I had Mahomes was down, so I needed a QB anyway, but I
Perfect.
could not believe that I was able to land Kyler.
It's ridiculous.
Like, it's weird that Moore didn't.
Oh,
weren't on
I
it.
did. He's
Yeah.
on many
Yeah,
of
he's
my
nice.
teams.
I think he could have a big second half.
Yeah, he's
Statistically.
on many of my teams.
Yeah.
Onward we go to the AFC South. Tennessee visiting Jacksonville. Jacksonville 6-3 on the year. Tough loss last week. Tennessee's lost 2 in a row since Will Levis became their quarterback. Zagura.
I think Tennessee's kind of cooked, and I think the Jags
It's disappointing last week with him.
to be this size of a favorite over anybody after the shellacking that they took last week makes me feel like Vegas is expecting a big bounce-back statement game riding the roller coaster of Shad Khan. Trevor Lawrence, 80. Levis, 60.
Yeah, it's when I saw this one this week, I thought the exact same thing because Jacksonville drilled last week by San Francisco. This is a classic bounce-back game for them. Tennessee, they're kind of half in on Levis, and I don't
There's
understand.
not a lot
it.
of talent for him to throw the
No,
football
there isn't.
to.
No, they're not. It is not a team that is well situated. I'm with you. I like Jacksonville relatively big in this one, 31-17.
Onward we go to South Beach. What could go wrong on a road trip there? Miami playing host to the all of a sudden very hot Las Vegas Raiders, who are 5-5 on the year. Mike McDaniel, optimistic running back Devin
Achane.
Thank you. Devin Achane will play. He's optimistic. Bo Bishop, what say you?
So Antonio Pierce gets the gig. It was the first week especially, was the easiest call ever that they would get all of the juice. But eventually, these things fall off a cliff a little bit. And what do we know about Miami? That when they play mid to bad teams,
Smoke them. Slump
City. So I like Miami huge. Miami 90, Vegas 2.
Ram it. Same. Miami. bigly. Vegas right now reeling Formula One race.
What's going on? So
nobody's there.
They're putting they put the F1 there, and then they basically kicked everybody else out of Las Vegas.
Yes.
To host this thing.
Yeah, but
no one's going.
Nobody's going.
Well, they were worried because
hotel rates are zero.
There was some big strike going on in Vegas with all like the workers, and they were worried that they weren't going to be able to accommodate everybody. So
I think that there was
nobody's there.
There was a moment, and it was coming right out of COVID. There was that Drive to Thrive or whatever it is, that series on Netflix.
Yep.
And F1 went nuts it's nuts around the world anyway, but like it went nuts in America for a moment there. But it feels like that moment has passed.
Well, they were 8 minutes into like qualifying yesterday, and then they had to stop because there was
manholes.
A manhole cover loose.
You don't ever want your manhole cover loose.
Hey-o.
Keep that sucker tight.
Amen.
Did Ocho like that? Ocho in there like that?
Ocho is stifling himself over here.
Good job out of you, Ocho.
So Uno might be worse.
Oh, Uno's
the
having
color
the time
of,
of his life.
there right now.
He's having the time of his life.
Up next, the Cowboys are 6-3 on the football season. A trip to Carolina for the Dallas Cowboys. Carolina coming off 2 straight losses since they beat Houston, including last week at the hands of the Chicago Bears. Zagura.
Dallas is a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde in terms of home and away. It's just a lot of points. I think Carolina's garbage. That's just a lot of points at home for a home dog. Carolina not plucky, but they just beat Houston at home, who we like a great deal. Cowboys win this one comfortable.
Yep.
40-30. Wow.
And that's why we say pay attention to the scores.
That's right. Right there's a perfect
That's a
example.
perfect
You
example
need to
of
be dialed
paying
into
attention
what
to
I
the
said
scores. Same,
but different.
Cowboys 31, Carolina 15.
I had you already written in Dallas for your column.
Onward we go to the NFC Norris division. The Detroit Lions 7-2 on the football season, 3-1 at home. They welcome in the 3-7 Chicago Bears.
Wow, we've got enormous breaking news. Jay Morrison, this from Zach Taylor. Joe Burrow had an acute injury, likely on the play before his last one, that likely will require surgery and likely put him out for the season. Joe Burrow done in Cincinnati.
I am not surprised. I felt like
That's Jay Morrison.
I felt like he could not.
You would
locked in.
You would ride that one.
Zach's saying it.
Yes. And just like that, the landscape in
one
this
week,
division has changed.
And in the conference.
Dramatically.
In 1 week, Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow.
Gone. Wednesday, Thursday.
Man. That's wild.
And you got
I'm not
throw in the drama going on
It was
in Buffalo.
obvious.
I'm not surprised.
No,
at
it was
all
obvious when he went to pick up the ball and he couldn't.
that was it. Sad, though. You
That's
want all
crazy.
these teams to
You
be
want
at full
everybody-
strength.
Yes. You want Deshaun here. You want Burrow there. You want
You want Deshaun Burrow, you want Nick Chubb back.
Yeah,
you
all
want
of
it
that.
all.
Wheelers are going to luck out again. They get him next week.
Well, they're going to get them next week. Cincinnati could go boom off a cliff.
Yeah.
Complete nosedive.
Complete nosedive here. They don't have the organizational depth we do.
No.
Not on defense. Not at all. That's huge. What are we doing here?
Bishop.
You're
Detroit,
right.
Chicago.
That's a lot going on.
That is a little
It's
bomb.
today.
That
Yeah.
is.
That's a bow bomb.
The
a
thing
lot of
that's so
bombs.
crazy about what happened with us
Yeah.
is that, like, we both watched this game last night,
Yeah.
and what you said to me doesn't, like,
No,
I
it's
felt
obvious.
like this was coming, this announcement, whereas with ours, missing the season wasn't even the worst case.
No.
We were thinking is, maybe he's got a high ankle sprain, he's going to miss the Steelers game.
Yes.
Wild. That is a big change in the Baltimore Ravens. So now, knowing this, obviously you would have liked the Bengals to somehow have eked that one out, because they're going like this, is to your point, and it would have brought the Ravens back to us. Yeah.
Yeah. Detroit by $1 billion.
Segura?
Justin Fields.
Nobody circles the wagons.
Down 14.
First game back.
90 seconds to go. He drops back to pass. He looks right. He looks left. Nobody's there. He rolls out to his right. He gets hit by Aiden Hutchinson. He spins around. He right back to his left. Oh, my God. He's just knifed through 2 linebackers, and he's in the open field. To the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Bears. Lions win it comfortably, 27-20.
Oh, boy. Little backdoor. Little Johnny backdoor.
I don't know what to make
Bengals
of this
just
one.
tweeted it out as well. Joe Burrow
Lambeau
out for remainder of the
Field
season.
and the Cheeseheads,
Jeez
3-6 on the
Louise,
year. Welcome the Los Angeles Chargers to town, 4-5, and Brandon Staley still employed.
4-5 with that roster.
4-5 with that roster. Zagura, who now have to be saying to themselves, by the way, there's opportunities now.
Bill Belichick. Oh, it's all they've been listening to our show. You see all the rumors? In line to be the next head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. We've
Also,
been
was
saying
rumored for Washington this morning. I saw. Belichick.
No, fine.
No, be smart, Bill. Go with the quarterback.
No,
race.
go to the NFC.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Go on, or go to the Chargers and be the GM.
I'm
as
not
well.
worried about it either way.
Me neither.
I think
Same.
Brady was maybe the magic.
Same. So I watched this Packers team. Not bad,
Yep.
but not good.
No.
Jordan Love actually better than I expected in terms of after watching him, the way he's throwing the ball and all of that. But Chargers are the better team. Not overthinking this. The frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, no big deal for the Chargers, who win this one 28-12.
Same.
Onward we go then to the NFC East. This will be this is definitely a candidate for the inmate game of the week. The worst team in the NFL, the New York Football Giants, 2-8, traveling to Washington to battle the Commies, 4-6 on the year.
I don't care anymore. I'm not doing it with the Giants until they actually play a reasonably competitive game. Not doing it. Washington got the guy who's thrown for more yards than anybody in the league.
They do.
DeVito.
Look at that.
Look at. I mean,
This
is he
is-
going fly fishing?
Yeah, he is. He could go fly fishing in that. He could go round up some cattle.
He's in the cowboy boots again.
Yeah, I like that. It's a good look out of him. He's got the cowboy boots, nice vest. He's good. He's ready to go.
To me, though, it's
Running a business.
It's a little. I'm running a business and I'm a Wilderman, whereas before was like I'm swaggy. We're winning.
This is his Friday vibe. He has two vibes. He's got the swag vibe, and then he's got woodsman.
We haven't seen swag though this week. I wanted.
Yes, we did.
need
We
some
saw
swag.
it. We saw it Tuesday.
Tuesday, sure.
Tuesday we saw swag.
Yeah. But since I needed it,
Yeah.
I wanted to take it into the weekend.
Yeah,
a
this
little
is
bit.
this is Western swag.
Avid outdoorsman.
This is Western swag.
Yeah.
This is Aspen.
Yeah.
Vale. Yeah.
Sure.
That's how that is.
sure.
Jackson Hole.
Yeah.
$1 million cowboy bar.
Yes.
Type swag.
Yeah, that's the type of swag there. I'm not doing it. Washington by $1 billion, like by numbers that I can't count to.
I'm going to go on the back door with Dable.
Stop it.
I am.
Stop it.
I'm doing it. Giants at the very back door at
All
the
right,
end.
you're gonna be. If this doesn't happen, you're gonna say
17-10.
You're gonna say what I was saying.
Yeah, this might be it. I haven't
How
gone
could
with I haven't gone with them in a long time.
No.
They suck. They're the worst team in football, but it's just a lot.
Okay.
Yep.
Tampa Bay visiting another team by the Bay, but not really because they don't play by the Bay anymore. San Francisco hosting Tampa Bay in the late round action. Zagura.
Nate. Niners so good, Nate.
Yep.
Why do they have to play Christian McCaffrey so much, though? I'm worried about that.
Dad, don't be worried about it. Like,
How about they scored like 90 last week, Mr. Zagura, and yet McCaffrey, who was trying to break a record, didn't score?
Did not score.
Everybody else scored.
Everybody else scored.
Debo, Kittle, Ayuk, all of them. With Chase Young, everybody said he was a real crud. Well, him and Bosa, they got it going, Nate. Niners by $1 billion.
Well, Dad, Tampa is at least semi-competent. That's a monstrous number.
It is.
That's
It's huge.
is my
Huge.
opinion there.
Yep.
This feels like Tampa's down 18.
Sure.
Niners don't care. There's a minute left. Here's a little slant to Godwin or Mike Evans. Yay.
Yep.
Niners 41, Tampa 30.
Nate, how dare you doubt my team?
I just have you winning by 10, Dad. What'd I do?
Baby Bo was the son I deserved.
Niners 24. Tampa Bay 10.
You know, there was one time my dad was running the board for me back in my fantasy consultant days.
Yeah.
He was running the board for me. And
What's he? Is this real?
Yeah. Yes. My dad's running the board for me. It was
So
me.
wait a second. Hold on a second.
Hold
No,
on.
no, no, no.
Just let me tell
We've
the
done
story.
this show for 6 years, and
Yeah.
this is the first I've heard that Pedro ran a board.
Just let me tell the story.
Continue.
So it was me and the Miz show called First and Awesome on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the segment, I had to get up a little bit early, so I hit my box off, and my dad thought that the segment was over, wasn't paying attention, actually turned the Miz's box off, too,
Oh,
so now
no.
nobody was talking, and then he yelled at me.
Then he yelled at you. Projected to you.
On me.
On you. There you go. Niners. Give me Pedro.
Spumoni.
AFC East on
Watch you
AFC
drink my
East
coffee.
crime coming. The Jets are 2-3, somehow still relevant.
I've already
Garrett
won this
Wilson
list.
questionable all week with an
already won
elbow. Salah
Is this
feels
real?
good about him
Yes.
playing,
No,
though.
not real.
Jets visiting Buffalo. Buffalo 5-5 on the year. Both teams have lost 2 in a row, Bishop.
I'm applying the same logic to this one that I applied to Jacksonville. Like, why would anybody have the Bills 7-point favorites the way they're playing right now? So it tells me that they think they're going to rebound a little bit. The Bills, I'll acknowledge, the hardest team by far for me to figure out this year. I don't feel like I've gotten them right much at all, but I like them winning 31-14.
Same. I feel like this is going to be one where they're like, yeah, and that's why we fired Ken Dorsey, even though it has nothing to do with it. They're going to be exactly the same, but except they're just not going to turn it over as much in this one. They're not losing to the Jets twice, and I think they're going to beat them handily.
All right, next up, the Seattle Seahawks visiting the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are 3-6. Seahawks 6-3, but I don't know if anybody has a belief in them. The Seahawks might be good at home, but they stink away. Well, they're 500 away. The Rams can't win at home, though. They're 1-3.
Stafford's back. I like the Rams outright. Just ram it.
In your mind's eye, how would you see the distribution of dollars placed on these two teams? In your mind's eye,
I would think it would be pretty big Seattle.
it's pretty big Rams.
Really?
72%
Huh.
on the Ramets.
I would think it would. That surprises me. I thought it would have been
Shocks
Seattle.
me as well.
Yeah.
DK
Odd.
Metcalf, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Tyler Lockett, climate-controlled environment. The Seahawk Tide's on a roll. The Tide's coming in. Hawks are going to win. Seattle, 27. Rams, 24.
I don't understand. This is Stuart Mandel, who covers college football. He just tweeted this. The NFL is hilarious sometimes. The Bengals invested $275 million in their quarterback, but their insurance policy, if he got hurt, is a guy who'd never played a game in 5 seasons.
I called for this in the opening segment.
How do you not understand how this business
Because
works?
nobody does.
Like this
nobody
isn't
does.
hard to figure out. This is a really smart guy who's been around the sport a long time. The answer to your question is in the first sentence, man.
That's right.
Real
Jeez.
quick, we got 30
Only
seconds.
only the Ravens were able to have a Pro Bowler as a backup.
Correct.
Right? But
That's
guess
it.
what? Nobody wanted to sign him.
Nobody.
Sunday Night Foosball, Minnesota, Denver. Minnesota's won 5 in a row. Denver playing some good ball as well. They've won 3 in a row.
I want the Dobbs experience to continue. Great guy, but at some point, a little reality has to set in. The Broncos have done great back-to-back weeks against Mahomes and Allen. I think they do enough here. Denver by a field goal, 3-0.
Same. Our score coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. The breaking news of the last 15 minutes, Joe Burrow done for the season. So in 1 week, the AFC North lost Watson and Burrow. Rodgers already down. Cousins. These are all teams that were either playoff teams or Super Bowl ascending teams, all without franchise quarterbacks. While that all sucks for those of us who consume football, this thing is pretty wide open in the AFC at the moment, and there's an opportunity Sunday, my friend.
There's a big opportunity. Browns, Steelers. I think we get the job done. I think we're the better team. I think we'll be able to out-physical them, and I think we will come out on top in this one by the score of 20-13.
41-14.
41.
Slump City. Let's go. Sunday, Cleveland Browns Radio Network, 9 a.m. game day, Fontana and Cherry. 11 a.m. Basket and Powell with the kickoff show, and then the kickoff at 1. Jim, the voice, Donovan's return.
Yes!
Z and Gerard. Enjoy it, kids. We're back on Monday. Next Level's next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.